welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my marathon series. So today's video is going to be all about how to actually get good at running to the point where you actually kind of somewhat enjoy it. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Becca. I'm a registered dietitian and I am currently training for the Chicago Marathon, which is in just a couple weeks, which is crazy. I am so ready, but I have done a whole marathon series here on my channel, so you should definitely go check out the previous episodes. But like I said, today's video is going to be all about how to actually get good at running. I have a lot of people that reach out to me and say, hey, I am a beginner runner. I've never been able to run like more than a mile or two or whatever at a time. I feel like I'm gonna die. Like, do you have any tips? So in this video, I am going to break it down for you because you guys know that I love science and I love biology, and there actually are some tips I can give you like based on our physiology that can help you to get better at running, and it really makes a lot of sense when you look at it this way. So of course, fueling properly and hydrating properly and wearing the correct shoes are all very important and things that I've talked about in great lengths, so far in this series. But there are two things that you can do to really just become more comfortable with running and maybe even enjoy it. And that first one may come as a surprise, but that is to run longer distances. You may be like, oh, I don't know about that, but just hear me out, let me explain. So when you start running or you enter into any kind of moderate to intense cardiovascular activity, aka running, for the first 20 to 30 minutes or so, obviously it's going to vary person to person slightly, but in that first period of time, what your body is using to fuel itself is glucose or, sugar. So we all have, stored up glucose or glycogen in our muscles. So the second we start doing some kind of physical activity, i.e. running, our body will immediately just go for those glycogen stores, start using up that glucose to fuel. So it's great because it's easy to turn glucose or sugar into fuel or energy, but it's not the most efficient because we don't get a ton of energy or a ton of ATP out of each of those sugar or glucose molecules. So long story short, during that time when you are still running on glycogen or glucose, you're not going to feel amazing. The first couple miles, they're not going to feel so hot. But once you get about, like I said, 20 to 30 minutes into that physical activity, your body will switch into what is called beta oxidation, aka fat burning. So when we switch to using fat as our fuel source, it is so much more efficient in comparison to using glucose to fuel the body, because you just get so much more energy out of like 1 gram of fat than you would 1 gram of glucose. So our bodies are going to feel much more efficient. You're going to start to feel better. Your breath might start to settle down. You may just start to kind of get into, that's where you kind of hit your stride. You're feeling better. You're just feeling like you're cruising along, and you may even hit that runner's high. But the thing is, if you only ever run like 2, 3, maybe even 4 miles ever, you're never really going to get to that point where you hit beta oxidation, and you're never really going to get to that point where you actually feel pretty comfortable in your run. Of course, it's still physical activity, it's still challenging, but if you never get to that point where you're just kind of cruising, you've hit beta oxidation, and your body is just fueled so much more efficiently, you're never really going to feel what it feels like to actually feel pretty good during a run. And also, the more consistently you're running, the better your body gets at switching into beta oxidation, because obviously that is going to be preferable to fuel the body because it is much more efficient. It's easier to make a lot of energy. So the more you are running, the more consistently you are running, the better your body will get at switching into beta oxidation, and therefore you will switch into it much sooner and hit your stride a lot faster. And going along with being consistent, the second reason is definitely just running consistently. And like I said, for beta oxidation reasons, but also the cells in our heart, our myocardial cells, they actually turn over very, very, very quickly. So about every 3 days or so, all of the cells in your heart have already turned over. So if you're always running, with stretches of 3 or more days in between, it's kind of like you're starting a little bit from ground zero on each of those runs, because all of those heart cells are all brand new and they haven't experienced what it feels like to have to work more quickly and efficiently during that run. So you may just feel a little more out of breath, a little more tired. So the more consistently you are running, not only are you training those myocardial cells to perform, and they're going to be used to, running and having to perform at that level of intensity, but also you're going to be able to switch into beta oxidation sooner, and therefore you're just going to feel better. Okay, now moving on to my tip for this week. If you are new to this series, every week I cover a topic. Obviously this week was how to get good at running. I share a running tip, and at the end I let you guys know how my personal training is going. So my tip for this week has to do with the actual race day itself, and that is to make sure that you are assigned to the proper, or at least close to the proper running corral. So if you're running a really small race, this probably isn't going to be a big deal. My first marathon, there was only one corral because it was a small race, so I didn't have to worry about this. But if you are running a bigger race in a bigger city like Chicago, there's going to be a lot of different running corrals, and they're basically just different groups that start at different times in the morning, and those groups are based on estimated finishing time. So it is important that you get in, your correct corral, or at least one that is close to your finishing time, because if you are starting off in the wrong corral, for example with people who are planning to finish an hour before you are going to start off with a group of people who are moving very quickly, and it's going to be much faster than your personal comfortable pace. This is a problem because there is so much adrenaline and nervous energy. It's almost like the air is electric around you at the starting line, and it's way too easy to just come out of the gate flying and just going way too fast, well above your race pace or your comfortable pace. And you absolutely want to avoid that. In fact, you want to force yourself to go slower than your race pace, at least like 15 to 30 seconds slower, because you have to reserve that fuel. You have to protect your energy stores. And if you come out of the gate flying, it's just going to bite you in the butt later on in the race, and you're just going to be depleted and you're going to hit a wall, and it's not good. So it's really important that you respect your personal pace and just make sure you get in an appropriate corral, because your success and your feeling good during that race really does depend on it. So as far as my training, things are going well. I am currently tapering, so I am on cloud 9. After running all of these crazy amounts of miles all summer long, it feels so good to just have like 3-mile runs during the week. I mean, I haven't seen those since like June, and we're now in September. So it's been going really well. And also the humidity has totally dropped, thank God. I was really struggling. I've talked about it every single video that I just really had a hard time with the heat and the humidity this summer. First marathon I ran, I trained through the winter, so I had no experience with running, consistently and training in humidity. So it was definitely a learning curve, and it was hard, but thank God the humidity is pretty much gone. It's still a little hot, but I don't mind hot. As long as it's not humid, I don't really care. So things have been going well. I have pretty much done all of my crazy long runs. All I have left is like an 8-miler. That's my longest long run I have left, and I was running 8 miles like during the weekday most of the summer, so that's like nothing to me now. So that's good. Race day is just around the corner. My next video is going to be all my race day tips, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, we're going to be going in like I think a week and a half. We're flying out to Chicago, and I am definitely going to vlog, as much as I can throughout the weekend. So get excited for that. Oh, I had my 20-mile run, which is the longest training run, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous for it, because probably more nervous than I've ever been for any long run, and I've already run a 20-mile training run and run a marathon, so I knew I could do it, but I just had some really brutal long runs. Like my 17 and my 18-mile run were just really rough, so I was nervous, but it was great. It was long, it was hard, of course it was a challenge, but I felt so good the whole time, generally speaking, which was just like the best feeling in the world. So after that I felt like, okay, like I've got this. So yeah, I am very excited, feeling very positive, and just ready to do the damn thing. So that is all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to learn from it. If you are currently training for a race, I hope it's going well, and I wish you luck. If you have any friends that are currently training for races and you think they might like these videos, go ahead and share them with them because it definitely does help me out. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel as well if you want to make sure you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. But that is all I have for today. Come hang out with me on Instagram and Snapchat, especially during race weekend. I'm sure I'll be on there, so stay tuned for that. But thank you guys so much for watching this video today, and I will see you in the next one. As the sun goes down.